All right, we are live. Welcome back to this live edition of, well, your life. And today, really want to focus on one particular thing. But before we do, if you're here live, go ahead and type live down below. If you are watching on replay, go ahead and type replay. Listen, I want to tell you about a conversation I had 7 years ago. 7 years ago with a gentleman by the name of Jay. Now, Jay, at the time, had a $2.5 million a year company, generated $2.5 million a year. And I know a lot of you would like to be at that point. But here's the problem. He was generating $2.5 million a year, but he was working 60 to 70 hours a week. He was literally fat and out of shape. His marriage was falling apart, and he'd lost his real purpose in life. And so this money that he was generating really didn't mean anything to him. In fact, I talked to him one night. He was delivering equipment. He had a company that delivers, or I should say, provides job site security, remote job site security for construction sites. And he had driven from Arizona to Florida to drop off some equipment, then turned around to drive back. Not like rested in a hotel, not like pulled over the side of the road, just like burned through it, right? And he was telling me how just worn out he was. And I asked him, I was like, Jay, like, how long do you think you can keep doing this? How long do you think you can keep burning the candle, as they say, at both ends? Sacrificing yourself for your business, sacrificing your family for your business, sacrificing everything you have in life for your business. And he said, I can't keep doing this. And it was at that moment that he decided to change. Now, change doesn't happen right away, right? The decision to change happens first and then the change itself. But I can tell you in a few short years where Jay is at. Jay now has a business that does $6.5 million a year. In fact, this year I think they'll eclipse 7. And he works 4 to 5 hours a week. Now I tell you that because I want you to know that it's possible. It's possible to transition from working with these things right here, your little hands, having this thing in your pocket or on your ear 24/7, being on the computer, to actually having a life. In other words, a business that supports a lifestyle versus a business that pulls you away from the very thing that you want. And today I want to share that with you, right? How is it that we transition from what I like to call 6-figure hustler to 7-figure CEO? Now, numbers are numbers are numbers, and contractors, let's be real, you guys don't like numbers. Well, you like the dollars in your bank account, but not the rest of them. What is a 6-figure hustler, right? Let's talk about a 6-figure hustler first. So there's a couple of things that a 6-figure hustler does, right? Use my fancy schmancy little whiteboard here. The first thing that a 6-figure hustler does is they focus on do it all yourself. And if you're a 6-figure hustler, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Who does the marketing? Who does the sales? Who makes sure the job gets done or does the job themselves? Who's the one that follow-ups with the clients and billing afterwards? Who's the one that tries to balance QuickBooks, right? Who's the one? Who's the one? Who's the one? That's you. So congratulations. There's a golf clap for you. Congratulations. You are the one. But you can't be the one forever. Not if you want to transition to being a 7-figure CEO, right? So you have to stop doing it yourself. But that's the first main quality of being a 6-figure hustler. The second one, there's no defined roles. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to make this a little thicker. That's what she said. No defined roles. Think about this. You may be working by yourself, but you may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees working with you. The problem is that everybody's stepping all over each other. Everybody's involved in marketing. Everybody's involved in some aspects of sales. Everybody is somehow swinging a hammer, screwing in a screw, is building a wall, is digging a ditch, whatever it is, right? Everybody's involved in every aspect of the business. And because there's no defined roles, where does that lead you to? Right back to do-it-yourself mode, right? Which is not what we want you to have. The third one, right? You're on the fast track. Now, if you were here earlier, you heard me talk about J. The fast track is where it's taking you very fast, not where you want to go, right? Which is burnout. There's only so much your body's capable of. Listen, I'll be the first to admit that I love to push my body to, the breaking point. Did 75 hard twice in a row, call it 150 hard. I've done 12 different marathons. I've done a lot of different things. But I can tell you, especially now, my body gets to the point where it literally is like pushing back, saying, no, I can't keep doing this, right? I need sleep, I need rest, I need recovery, whatever the thing is. And so if you're a six-figure hustler, you're on the fast track to burning out, okay? And then the last thing is TIME. You're spending too much time doing the things that don't actually generate money. You being on this little thing does not necessarily generate money, right? You being on Facebook, Instagram, scrolling through reels on TikTok, whatever the damn thing is not actually generating money. And so you're wasting time doing the things that don't generate more money. Do you need to focus on marketing and sales? Absolutely. Do you need to be like researching the highest trending reels? No, right? You need to be focused on what I call MGA, money generating activities, right? So this is a six-figure hustler. What does a seven-figure CEO look like, right? Let's look at the difference. In fact, because I want it to be different, I'm going to make it the color that you guys all love, right? The color of money, the color green, right? So a seven-figure CEO. What's the difference? Okay, seven-figure CEO. Number one, clear on your role. Some of you guys love to talk and love to sell. Congratulations. That's where you should be hanging out, right? With the sales guys, or you are the sales guy until you hire a sales guy. And even then, you're probably still involved in sales because that's your gift. That's what you're really good at. Some of you guys are super good at organization. Guess what? That's where you need to be spending your time. Some of you guys are really good with technology. Some of you guys are really good with managing jobs. Whatever the thing is, you need to start to build a team that has clarity around roles. And the first role that you need to get clear on is you, right? The second one is the 80% rule. The 80% rule states that you should be spending 80% of your time on activities that are growing the business. I just said it. Yes, growing the business. Not in the business, right? So there's a difference between working on the business versus working in. Now, for those of you who don't know the difference, working on your business is working on activities that will help grow the business, whether it be resources, whether it be people, whether it be relationships, but working on the business. Working in the business, you're literally like hustling to figure out how to generate more leads, close more deals, get more jobs done, so on and so forth, right? The day-to-day of the business. And so 80% of your time needs to be spent working on that business, okay? Now, what's the third piece? Defined R&R. Now, that's not rest and relaxation for you little knuckleheads who are thinking that right now. Defined R&R is roles and responsibilities. Every single person on your team needs to know what they're expected to do, why they're expected to do it, and how they're expected to do it. And if that's not set up, guess what? You're going to keep climbing all over each other. Somebody's going to paint a wall a certain color, which should have been a different color, so then you got to repaint it. You're just going to be duplicating work, which makes you less efficient, which makes you ultimately less money, okay? And then the last piece of this is TIME, right? Clarity around the time that you need to be spending doing the activities that you should be doing. So let me ask you right now, if you're watching this, either live or on replay, comment down below. Are you functioning right now like a six-figure hustler or a seven-figure CEO? Just literally type 6 or 7, and I know exactly where you'd be based off of that comment, right? 6 or 7. Where is it that you're at right now in your business? Again, six-figure hustler. You're doing it all yourself. No defined roles inside of your team. You're on the fast track to burnout, and you ultimately don't control time. Time controls you. Seven-figure CEO. You're clear on your role and your greatest attributes and how you contribute most to the growth of the business. The second one is the 80% rule. You spend 80% of your time working on your business, not in it. Number 3, define R&R, not rest and relaxation, but roles and responsibilities. Whoever it is that you hire needs to know what you expect them to do, why you expect them to do it, and how you expect them to do it. And then ultimately, you control your time. Your time does not control you. So in the comments, drop a 6 if you're acting like a 6-figure hustler, 7 if you're acting like a 7-figure CEO. Now, I'm not here to kick you in the balls. Okay, maybe I am just a little bit. But more than anything, we need to understand the transition, right? How do we move from a 6-figure hustler to a 7-figure CEO? Well, here's the first question that I always ask contractors that I start working with, right? And it's a very difficult question. If you only had available to you, let me move over this way here. If you only had available to you 10 hours a week, 10 hours a week, that's it, what would you do? And I get it. It's a difficult question to answer. In fact, it takes most of these guys a couple weeks to figure it out. Now, I ask them this not because I want them to go from working 60 to 70 hours a week to 10 overnight. Doesn't happen that way. Just like with Jay, it took a few years. But what I want you to get clear on is if I could only do things for 10 hours a week, what would those things be? And I can tell you in the last 12 months, we've helped, I think it's 12, 13 different companies transition from 6 to 7 figures and multiple 7 figures, right? It happened because they focused on this thing. So if you could only work 10 hours a week, what would those 10 hours a week worth of activities look like? What would they be? What would you be doing? Okay? Because if you can define those 10 hours, guess what happens with the rest of the hours? And I'll be generous, and we'll just say there's 40 other hours. What has to happen? We find someone else to do this job, or we simply don't do it. Whew. That's a hard one, isn't it? Right? Now, if it's someone else, this can fall in one of two categories, right? This can be internal or external. And I'm just going to briefly go over this. If you have a team right now, pay attention. You need to start leveraging your team, right? If you have employees, you need to understand what employees need and want, right? They need to be told what to do, not like, hey, I hired you to be the salesman, like, go sell. No, that's not the way it works. I hired you to run the office, run the office. Nope. Again, clarity around these roles and responsibilities. That's what they need. And so you have to say, okay, if I can no longer do, let's just say, for example, marketing. I can no longer do marketing. John's going to do it. April's going to do it. Whoever. We'll just say John. So John's going to do marketing. Cool. Guess what you have to do with John? You have to sit down and define a marketing plan. Who are we marketing to? Where are they at? And how are we marketing to them? What does that look like? And you build out a very specific game plan that he can then execute on, right? And your job is simply to make sure that he has the resources that he needs to market, dollars if you're going to throw dollars into it, or access to different trade groups or organizations that he needs to be a part of, whatever the thing is, right? And then hold him accountable. John, I expect you to sell $100,000 this month worth of XYZ roofing material, right? Whatever the thing is. But you can't hold him accountable to something that he doesn't know, one, that he's accountable to, and two, doesn't have a clear way to make it happen. Fair? The second thing is external. A lot of you guys spend a time on your books, and let's just be real. You suck at running your books. And I'm not here to judge because I suck at running my books too. But I have a bookkeeper. And when I hired the bookkeeper, it relieved this huge stress and pressure off of me because I can now pay somebody $15 an hour to do my books, and I don't have to do it. And so my money generating activities transition from $15 an hour to $500, $750, $1,000 an hour, right? So you can use internal employees, or you can use external companies or subs, or however you want to look at it, to help you get this work done, right? Now, again, I don't want to go super deep on this, but what I want you to understand is we're approaching the end of 2023. Yes, that's right. End of 2023 already. You got 3 more weeks. And so in these last 3 weeks, you're going to make an impact on your business one way or another. Some business owners, contractors especially, they like to check it out. See you later. I'll be back in January. And I'm not here to judge. If that's you, so be it. I know some contractors who take 3 months off, right? If you're going to take some time off, cool, take some time off. What I don't want you to do though is put your business in a position where you have to start over in January. That's not what we want. And so this is the perfect time for you to start planning, prepping, getting ready for next year. And so next year, if you were to take this 10 hours a week and say, I'm going to eliminate, I can only work 10 hours a week, but the first thing I'm going to eliminate is marketing, is books, is whatever, then start to build out the game plan right now so that you can start to implement it in 24, or even start implementing it right now. If you have been hiding underneath a rock and you don't know what's going on, in January, we're actually hosting American Contractor Live. It's our 2-day conference. We're hosting it in Provo, Utah. Guess what? That's a perfect opportunity for you to come. And if you're training somebody to be a general manager, a operations manager, something like that, bring them with you. But it's a perfect opportunity for you to get in a room with like-minded contractors, learn from the speakers that we have that are 6, 7, or 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs and contractors who are going to talk to you about mindset. They're going to talk to you about skill set, marketing, sales, team building, systems, everything in between. But ultimately, it's an opportunity for you to work on your business and get that framework that you need to be successful in 2024. So no more of this. No more 6-figure hustler. We want you to be a 7-figure CEO. All right, so last thing to do is for you to make the decision. What do I need to do right now that's going to help me make this transition? All right, you know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.